Folks, Sean McKenna here, subbing in for Allan Zilkowsky. Normally I do this in Barstools and Bandtalk, but we're East Coast Live. We have Richie Faulkner from Judas Priest. Sir, thank you for doing this.
Sean, it's a pleasure and an honor to be with you here in the beautiful frozen Nova Scotia. It's a beautiful day here, and we're looking forward to playing for you guys in a couple of days, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
And you will be playing, right? You will be playing. We know this.
Absolutely, yeah. We're resting up. We know the story. Yesterday we had to unfortunately cancel the show, and the reason for that is so that we can, preserve our health and get better. Rob's got a bit of a cold, so we can preserve our health, get back on track, and do the rest of the shows in Canada. So that's what we're aiming to do.
That's perfect. And you know what? Best wishes to him, because I know anytime you get a sniffle, they're saying it's COVID, so you got to be careful of that thing, right?
Absolutely. Obviously these guys have been doing it for 50 years. I've been doing it for a few years with them. And it's just, whatever, even if you don't tour as a musician, we all get sick from time to time. And it's going to happen when you're on the road. It's a rigorous schedule. And, even pre-COVID, now post-COVID, so to speak, you're going to catch bugs and stuff like that. It's just part of the life we lead. And obviously being a singer, if it was me or Ian, Scott or Andy, I think we could maybe just, hammer through it. But obviously when your instrument's your voice, it's a bit harder to do, So, he's resting up, he's resting his voice, and he's on some meds, and, he's going to get through it.
Well, the best to him, and obviously, when you have that voice, you got to be very respectful of it, because it's such a distinctive voice. So, not to come at you with the 2001 question about your health, but you had a setback there. Are you finding that with the COVID thing, being back on the road, you got to be a little extra careful, or can you just handle yourself business as usual? How's that going for you?
Well, I think everyone's got to be vigilant. Obviously, the lockdowns and restrictions are kind of being relaxed around the world. So in one respect, you can be a bit more relaxed, but in another respect, because they've been relaxed, you've got to be a bit more vigilant. Sure. So it's a bit of both, really. It's nice that it's been relaxed because we can now enjoy live music again, and to see the fans and the looks on their faces, to be experiencing, in our case, heavy metal shows again, live heavy metal shows, is fantastic. And it's great for us again as well to be able to deliver a live heavy metal show and see the looks on those fans' faces and be part of that live heavy metal community again. It's fantastic. But obviously I don't think it's gone away completely yet. We're still hearing of cases here and there. So we've got to be somewhat careful. Depends what you listen to, what kind of sources you listen to, but you've got to be somewhat vigilant. But again, I think it's got to the point where everyone's living their lives, and but kind of using common sense in terms of being safe.
And again, so not to because I'm sure you got to be to the point where oh my God, one more question about what happened to me, but it seemed like it happened, and we get the when it happened, and then we see you out there playing, and then it just seemed like out of nowhere you were good, but there was probably a long period of time where you went through some stuff to get back to where you're at. I have a bandmate, I play music myself. He just had open heart surgery last Wednesday, and he's going through a very rough time. So that must have been for you very draining.
Definitely, yeah. And I think people handle it differently, and I think I've spoken to people, there's a whole community of people that have had open heart surgery for different reasons. Mine wasn't so much the heart, it was the mechanics around it. So people have it for different reasons. They recover differently, or their recovery period is longer, or their age affects them differently, or, their health that they were in affects their recovery period. I was very fortunate, in relation to some people that I've spoken to in the community, I recovered fairly quickly. And I just had in my mind that I wanted to get back out on the road and do these dates and get back on the horse, so to speak. And I don't know if that was a naive thing to I don't know if I knew how serious my condition could be, or how serious I needed to take the recovery. But that was it worked for me, if you know what I mean. I had these dates. I was given the go ahead by the surgeons. I had these dates. We put these dates up on the calendar, and I just focused on those really. I went through the cardiac rehab, got my heart strong and all the mechanics strong and everything like that, and just went for it. And again, I don't know if that was a naive mindset to have, but it seemed to work, and I feel strong. And obviously there are precautions that I have to take moving forward, and medications and stuff like that. But I seem to be doing well on the road, and it seems to be working fine, you know.
Well, and I have to think for the mental health to be able to get back out there when everything was shut down, you weren't able to play, and then then you had that setback. I mean, I think mental health wise, it's got to be a great thing to get up there and see thousands of people, back in a stadium.
1,000%, yeah. I mean, to be out after COVID last year, through rehearsals, we've done band rehearsals, and then we did production rehearsals, and we were getting closer and closer to getting on the plane and actually getting out to the US. Until we were in the US, we were actually on tour after COVID, and 3 weeks in, I was the one to kind of put the brakes on, and it was quite upsetting, really. And it was exciting to be out. And as I said, it was a release for us to be out again playing, and obviously for the fans as well to be out experiencing live music. And to put the brakes on was kind of, no pun intended, it was kind of heartbreaking to put the brakes on, not only for me and the band, but for the crew as well. The crew were relying on, working and everything like that. But it was out of my hands, really. And it's just good to be back again, doing those dates that we promised that that we were going to fulfill. And now looking to the future, moving on into 2022, we're looking to Europe and then dates beyond that. So it's an incredible feeling. Well,
and I mean, it says something about that organization. I mean, not to cast you aside, but I mean, if they really wanted to, they could have called somebody up and said, "Hey, look, he's down for a few weeks, a few months. Let's keep it going." But they chose not to. They chose to, all for one for all, get you better. I guess what that's saying is, after being in the band for the period of time that you have, you're a focal point of the band now. Is that a fair statement?
I mean, I couldn't speak for them, really. I mean, that's what they chose to do. I mean, it was an honor, really, that they chose to do. They chose to wait for me. They gave me the support, really, and chose to wait. And they could have got someone else in, but as you said, they chose to wait until I was ready. And they've been, it was always when I was ready. And when we were looking at rescheduling these dates, it was always about when I was going to be ready. Am I sure? Are the surgeons okay with me doing it? And they was always checking in with me to make sure I was okay. And to this day, really, they always check in, and the production manager always checks in and just makes sure I'm okay and feeling okay. And it's been supportive all the way through, really.
That's fantastic. I had a friend of mine that saw you guys in West Virginia, I guess a week and a half ago, and he's a singer guitar player, and he made a really funny comment. Obviously, your name, if people know your name, and he said it was the first time that he saw you play live. Knew you by reputation, was blown away by how you played, and that's not me sitting here giving you an ass kissing sort of sentiment, but he was very surprised. Do you tend to get that a lot? Do you tend to, like, people just kind of pigeonhole you as the guy that came into Judas Priest? They don't understand, hey, you're a talented player as well.
I don't know, really. I think, I mean, I've been in the band for over 10 years now, but I don't think you can take it for granted that you're still going to play to people that haven't seen me with the band. And not only that, sometimes we play places that the band haven't played before, often, or as I said, at all. Sometimes I think we played New Zealand a few years ago, and the band had never played there. So, so you can't take that for granted, really. So you're always playing to either a new fan or a new city or a new country. And you can never take that for granted, that someone's going to see you for the first time, and you're up there upholding that legacy, and I think it's a great legacy. And that legacy was there before me for 40 years. So you can never take that for granted. So it's an incredible honor that your friend thought that, and tell him thank you from me.
I will, for sure. And I don't want to hit you with, the cheesy question, but I mean, you're in there 10 plus years. They've been a band for, almost 50 years. Do you ever get tired of playing those songs?
Yeah, I can't. I hate it, man. It's the worst. No, it's cliche. I mean, but those songs take on a different kind of character every night, based on they're great songs anyway. But when you play them live to a different audience every night, it becomes a different experience. I think it's the same for the audience. You can go and see a band for 10 shows, 10 nights in a row, and it will be a different experience every night. And I think it's the same for us. Plus, there's 2 albums worth of songs to choose from that I've been involved in as well now. So obviously that takes on a different experience as well when you've had a hand in creating some of those songs that become people's favorites as well sometimes. And that's an incredible honor as well. So no, they don't get boring. I mean, you've got like the Sentinel, Victim of Changes, and again, it's about upholding that legacy that means so much to so many people, and the looks on their faces, and when they've got their horns in the air and they're singing along with you, you become part of the whole experience yourself.
So you may or may not know this, but I mean, this part of the world, so there's a huge following of metal in Atlantic, Canada. It probably started in 1984 when Iron Maiden came here with Twisted Sister and kind of went out from there. But you guys have a huge following here. I believe you've been here one other time before. When things were postponed, social media here was just like, not another concert. Everybody is super excited about this concert on Thursday night. Are you guys aware of the following that you have in this part of the world?
When people like you tell us about it, we've made more aware. I think we haven't been here for now 7 years. I think we were here on the Redeemer of Souls tour. I think we were here with Mastodon, and we didn't make it here on the Epitaph tour. But every time we come up to Canada, we are kind of made aware of how much heavy metal and Judas Priest, and as you said, heavy metal in general means up in Canada. It's always, you can always tell when you cross the border into Canada, and the audience reaction. This isn't to put down the US in any way, but you can always tell there's a slight shift in energy when you get up to Canada, and you think, "Oh, what's happened here?" We're in Canada. There's a slight shift in energy, which is always a welcome one. Everyone seems a bit more unhinged up here. In a good way.
Parts of it. The other good thing too is if you're carrying US dollars, you come up across the border. Wow, you get to buy a whole lot more stuff up here in Canada, right?
Yeah, a lot more maple syrup, to take back down, But no, and everyone's nice and kind up here. Everyone seems in a good mood. But no, it's evident really how much respect people have for metal up here, and it's a great thing. It's good to be back.
So you guys get a couple days before your show. I'm not going to say where you are. We're going to keep that secret. But what are your plans over the next couple of days? Because everybody thinks they read the stories of yore where rock and roll is this huge partying thing. They don't understand actually how regimented your schedule is and how intense it is. What do you plan on doing for the next couple of days before the show?
Well, we've got a couple of days off, and if anyone's been paying attention to the rock press, we've had some illness in the band. Rob's got a bit of a cold, so we're going to take a couple of days for Rob to recuperate and get ready for the show. And in the meantime, where we are at the moment, there's some good seafood apparently. So I'm a big fan of seafood. We're by the coast, so we're going to do some exploring. I usually try and find some local guitar stores and music stores and see if there's anything that I haven't got, anything I need in the local guitar stores in terms of guitars and stuff like that. But that's basically it really. But mainly try and recuperate, get Rob back to health, and give 1,000% on Thursday.
Fantastic. And again, I want to be respectful of your time. When we go off the air, I want to give you a little tip on something here. But I was pitch hitting for Allan, so hopefully I did a good job. Very nice to meet you. I'm going to try to get to that show. I'm actually playing at a bar down the road, but I get invited to the show, so I'm going to try to get out on Thursday night, see it.
Cool.
Been hearing great things. And continue good health, and I hope you guys enjoy your stay in Atlantic, Canada while you're here.
Thanks very much, man.
Mr. Richie Faulkner, it's been a pleasure.
You too, man. Take it easy. Have a good gig on Thursday.